this issue of DL men that I'm hearing on TikTok is going exactly where I unfortunately expected to go. Its stigma and its fascination is like slowing down on a highway to take a look at a car wreck. All right, that type of morbid fascination where you either are mocking it morbidly or you are hitting it with contempt because these closeted men are causing so much heartache and abuse and and destruction, not just for themselves but for other people in their lives. And I wish to share my story with when I met one of these DL men. I came out as bisexual in 95, and I was 24, so a little bit of a late bloomer. And I immediately started attending bisexual discussion groups at the Gay and Lesbian, Bisexual, Trans Community Center here in New York City. There was one discussion group for general issues, but there was another one that was more personal, like group therapy, and I attended that in the very beginning. And the people who were there were mostly in the beginning where they had freshly come out, and maybe they were dealing with the pain of maybe receiving rejection from their parents, or maybe receiving rejection from the gay community for being bi, or just talking about general issues like that. But that after a while, that is when one particular man came into the room. He was this African American gentleman, dressed very nicely. He sat down, and that's when it was his turn to talk. That's when he said that he was bisexual and that he was married and he had children. And the facilitator asked, "Does your wife know about this?" And he said no. And she asked, "How do you feel your wife would think if you came out to her?" And he says, "Oh, she would definitely not disapprove. She would definitely not approve of that." And I will always remember his voice. His tone was very, very careful, but very direct, very frank, very honest, but very vulnerable. And this was years before I heard the term down low. Now, I know what it's like to be in the closet, but I most definitely don't know what it's like to be in the closet to that extent where you are so encased in it that, you are deceiving and hiding from yourself on that level. I have known the anxiety and shame of being in the closet, but on that level, I I don't pretend to imagine. Okay, but here's the thing. We are hearing these stories, and they've become morbid, dark and morbid. The 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 stories of back alleys and deception and bringing other family members into it, all morbid and fascinating. All right, and when we hear this, like a wildfire spreading of gossip, of course, they begin to lose their humanity. And this was a story where one man who, of course, he was in a very bad place. And yes, if he ever came out to his wife or his wife ever found out, he would have to reap the consequences of his actions. The pain it would cause, the pain it would cause his children, his wife, divorce, whatever destruction or transition, he would have to bear the consequences of that. But this was still a man who chose not to stay within the darkness of the closet. He chose, he said, I cannot keep this in any longer. I need to be around people who understand. I need to be around other bisexual people. I need to be in a space where I can talk about this. That in that space, he chose an emotionally healthy action, which I wish to have faith created a bridge for him. Now, of course, if his wife and children ostracized him, that's his karma. But because he chose that emotionally healthy impulse of speaking his truth, of not hiding within his shame, I like to think that he made it to the other side of that dark time. And hopefully he is in a place where he is now more genuinely and authentically himself. I make it a point to be very private about my queerness. All right? It's how I grew up. I'm Gen X. But what's going on in this country? I am now officially taking that next step to be a little more open about it. And here's the thing, okay? We are on the precipice of losing our rights again. People are trying to force the oppression in the closet back onto us. So, as a healer, my doors and my heart are open for any closeted down low men to come and receive a healing. So hopefully that will create the change for them to step more into honesty and genuineness and wholeness. I invite you, don't just stop at judgment here. Our entire community is threatened. And for those who are still in the closet, we can help them. We can save them. Now, if you don't want to, fine. But I'm a healer. And I will take that risk and help. And I hope there are people out there who feel the calling as healers or social workers to do the same. We need to create that bridge to these people because that will bring more light for us to survive. Blessings.